Hello. I wanted to do something a little bit different for this video. I'm normally playing and singing in my videos, so you probably haven't heard me speak before. But I wanted to give you an insight into what I've been working on at the moment. I'm preparing for a musical, just an amateur musical. I'm by no means an expert on these things, and I know that some people are playing night after night in the West End or something like that in the big league. So I am by no means in that kind of realm. But I thought it might be interesting for those of you who've never ventured into playing in a musical to know exactly what's required. I have played both guitar and bass for musicals. And as a teenager, I once even sang for one. Here's Exhibit A with me looking confused with a microphone. I'm about 16 there. And I was playing guitar and singing in that one. But as an adult, I've only played guitar and bass in amateur school and college musicals. But nevertheless, hopefully it will be interesting. The first thing that I need to mention about is copyright. So I can't actually show you the score that I'm working from. They're very tightly controlled. They are released about 6 to 8 weeks before you actually perform them. And they cannot be performed at the same time as a run going on in the West End or something like that. And you are not allowed to photocopy the music. You're not allowed to share it with people if it's unauthorized. So it's literally just your score for you to work on. It's about the thickness of this pad. This is the kind of level that you're looking at. And you can pencil onto it as much as you like. Obviously, you need to rub it out when you give your score back at the end. And I think the most penciling on that I've ever done was when I played guitar for West Side Story, and they said when I returned it that they had never seen so much penciling because they stupidly offered to rub it all out for me, and that was a mistake because I needed quite a few notes on that one. But generally speaking, you will be writing on more like directions, that kind of thing. If you're cutting, a repeated bar, a kind of safety bar, then you'll write that on. You might write on some other notes about we're pausing here or we're slowing up here and it doesn't say it in the score, that kind of thing. But the score that you have will be in traditional notation, probably. So the guitar scores will often give you chord moves over the top. But then they'll have little with the rhythm marks on them, but then they'll give you little lines of lead that you may need to play, and you will need to read that. And a bass score will be almost exclusively in notation. So if you are not au fait with reading traditional notation, then this will not be the gig for you. If you've been used to friendly chord charts or even tab in the past, this will not be good for you. But on the other hand, if you want to get your reading better, they're fantastic for that. You could, of course, aim to learn the whole thing, but I wouldn't recommend it, seeing as you haven't got an awful lot of time and you've got maybe between 30 and 40 numbers to learn, not all of which you'll be playing in. But I would suggest that a certain proficiency with reading is recommended, because you can then set the easier ones aside and you can just read those on the nights. And then the harder ones you want to get under the muscle memory of actually practicing them, because they're interesting. The key changes. Oh my God, the key changes. Dios mío, the key changes. They will take you from here to here to here. So you might start off in F major, for instance. You'd be playing in that for a few bars. Then they'll decide you're going to do a little brief visit into the key of A major or something like that. So you're going from flats to sharps to, and then back again. And then you'll have a bar just in one key, and then you'll go back to another key for 4 bars, something like that. So they really do keep you on your toes, and all of that is going to be done not with the accidentals written onto the score like on a jazz score where you have your flats and sharps written on, but they will be done with a key signature at the beginning of each line, as in classical music. They are quite classically orientated, and I think that's why a lot of classical musicians that I work with really enjoy musicals, whereas they don't enjoy maybe a lot of other contemporary music. So you will need to keep up with that. It's good fun. It's good fun. The other thing that you need to bear in mind is if you're used to having a little bit of creative freedom, you're used to playing in a rehearsal band or function band or even doing pub gigs, you have that room to perhaps experiment within certain parameters. You can play a different solo each night because you don't want to be driven mad by it and you actually want to explore. There's very little room for that in a musical. You will be playing the same thing over and over again. With there's a few, I think I have one bar in this where it says that I can improvise, but that's it. So and let's face it, you don't have much room in a bar, so it's literally going to be a little bit of pentatonic magic perhaps just to lead us into the next bar. So if you enjoy creativity and you enjoy putting a little bit of yourself into it, this is not really the gig for you, because you are playing what is written over and over again, the same thing night after night, over and over again. So if that doesn't sound like something you like to do, then it's probably not for you. That said, I have to say I really enjoy doing them because they give me a great sense of satisfaction. And having a musical, something big to work on, keeps my kind of squirrely, free-range brain occupied. And the sense of achievement when you finish it is fantastic. If you're working with a good bunch of people, you can have a lot of fun. And the teamwork element is great. I hope that's been interesting to a certain degree. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.